There were parts of this episode that I could have done without and that I felt were a little bit slow, but overall I thought it was really great and really neat to see, again, Gon's resolve. Hunter x Hunter, episode 23, The Guard's Duty. I mean guard. Guard.
So much fun. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters and newly anointed hunters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and, let's see, like, test-driven tale, and a little bit messed up, too, you know, when you see this Zoldyck family. My God, this tale of Hunter x Hunter 2011. Our last episode saw us with really Gon and his resolve wound up kind of winning over Zebro, the guardsman there at the testing gate and in the guardhouse, and he brought them in, Gon and Killua, or they're going to see Killua, Gon and Leorio and Kurapika. So anyway, that's the episode ended off with him finally, you know, kind of bringing them through the gates, and then you're seeing this vicious, huge wolf beast thing, Mike, that obviously would have killed them if they did not go, come in with Mike or go through the testing gate. But the testing gates weigh 2 tons each, so not good stuff there. I'm fairly strong, but I don't know about pushing no 4 tons, man. That's probably out of my range, and most people's as well. That is how the episode left off, and that's right where things pick up. The first half of the episode, it was a little bit slow in the sense that Zebro takes them to the guardhouse, introduces him to, like, his other guy that's there with him or whatever, and his name escapes me right now, I don't know why. Anyway, he goes and brings him to the guardhouse and then has him wearing these weight vests, and everything in the house is really super heavy. The teapot weighs 40 kilograms. And the cups that they drink the tea out of weigh 20 kilograms, 500 kilograms to push the door. And if I remember my measurements right, I think a kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So that would mean that, it's roughly 45 pounds to pick up this cup to drink out of, 80 or 90 pounds for these vests. I think they're 100 kilos each, so 200, or maybe they're 50 or 100. They're a couple hundred pounds each. They're wearing these things, and basically it's a whole strength type of thing, right? Just trying to build up the strength and what have you. So then we go and we're taken, though, the really interesting part is that we're taken into the Killua family mansion, I guess, or part of this mansion or what have you. And we see how these sick fucks actually kind of live, man. It just sort of looks like a dark, desolate, like, castle, dungeon type thing and what have you. And we wind up seeing this woman walking, and she's got like this cyclops like visor looking thing over her face, but she's got like the little umbrella hat and the floofy dress and everything, like she's going to a tea party. And she's got, we presume, is her, I'm assuming this is her daughter with her. And they go into this room where Killua is chained up, right, and stripped down to his shirt's off and like that, and he's got freaking marks from a whip all over him, lacerations and what have you. And then we're introduced. They don't really say anybody except for I think it's his brother's name, this little fat bastard, Milike, yeah, maybe it's Milike, I think it was. And that's the only one that's introduced out of the 3 of them, but we can presume that the other one is his mother and the other one's his sister, And they're like, and the one that's been beating the shit out of him is like, yeah, he just, he's stubborn. He just won't admit that he was wrong. He won't say that he was sorry, And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I get it that you're a family of assassins, okay? I get it that you people are a little bit crazy, But really, you're just like beating a 12-year-old kid with a whip and having another family member do it because he won't admit that he was wrong, Anyway, the cool thing about this setting in this scene is that they wind up letting it slip that Gon is actually there, and then he's at the testing gate, with his friends. And Killua actually kind of gets this gleam in his eye, which is great. I thought, I thought it was a real profound moment. The animation's done so well, and then he goes in, and they're like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. He's at the testing gate. He'll never make it here anyway, and this and that, or he'll never make it through the testing gate. And Killua goes, oh no, Gon will. He knows Gon, right? And they say, well, yeah, but even if he does, he'll never make it up here in this net. He's, oh no, Gon will make it here, Gon will, he'll do it or he'll die trying, He is definitely a person who sets forth a goal in front of him and completes it. And that's what I like. I like seeing these strong characters, even at a young age, that have that strength of will, that tenacity. That's something that I think that just the human race in general has really lost. And it's not even a generational thing. It just seems like it's more prominent now for people to be like,
all right, I'm not good at this, I'll just give up and move on to the next thing, you know. And you don't see as much of that resolve. You see a lot of people go and give in to popular belief or whatever bandwagon there is to jump on at the time. Is this popular now? Okay, cool, I'm going to side with that particular notion. And nobody really seems to have that strength of resolve and that inner strength to go and push forward. So I really like that part. For me, it was one of the best parts in the episode. So nonetheless, right before the midway point, and again they're training. You know, we presume for a few days. And Kurapika and Leorio are like, we're gonna push on the doors. It doesn't matter if all of us work together or whatever, as long as we can get them open, we can get through, right? So they're pushing and pushing. They're not getting anywhere. Nonetheless, though, eventually they do wind up budging a little bit. But then the next day they come out, they take off the weight vests because Zebro tells them you might be able to do this now. They start pushing on him again. Then Gon, his arm is healed now. He drops his cast or whatever sling that he had his arm in, and he gets in the middle pushing with them. And the key to it is Zebro's partner, the other guard over there, wind up telling them, even though he's kind of a grudging dick, you know, he winds up telling them, you got to push at the exact same time. Simultaneous pressure is what's going to do it. And these things are cool, man. The way they're gates inside of gates inside of gates. There's like 6 or 8 tiers of them, man. Absolutely cool to look at. Just stunning in the animation and everything. So, nonetheless, though, with Gon's help, they wind up eventually pushing through. And that's kind of the first half of the episode in a nutshell. Boom, they push through, right? And you're like, okay, well, this is awesome. You know, now they're in. Well, we wind up finding out from Zebro, he's worked there for 20 years, never even seen the damn mansion, right? It is number one, it's up the mountain. He knows that, somewhere up the mountain. But there's all kinds of shit that the Zoldyck family has in place and whatnot. And I mean, we wind up finding out too from the partner, he actually a few years ago came in and tried crashing the place with some other guys. And I guess some like junior level butler pretty much just annihilated all of them but him. And he wound up obviously just staying and working for the family now. But it's not an easy task for them to get there. We know that the road ahead is definitely going to be mired with many mines. It's going to be a minefield, you know, so to speak. So definitely very cool stuff there. What we wind up seeing, though, which I think is cool, is another show of Gon and his tenacity and his resolve. He goes and as they go they're walking up this path, and him and he's flanked by Kurapika and Leorio. There winds up being this butler, this I think her name was Canary, if I remember right. Canary. It's spelled like Canary, but anyway. And she's there. It's like a little girl, it looks like. I mean, she looks like she's nothing but 12 or 13, 14, I don't know, but she's all dressed up. She's one of the butlers, and she's got this this cool looking like pole with like almost like a scepter, you know, because it's got like a little ball on the end of it. And she goes and she's like whoosh, draws this line in the ground in front of them, you know, right between the gate that she's at, you know. And she's like, you can't pass here. If you cross over this line, I have to remove you by force, you know. And Gon's like, no, listen, because she's like, you have to leave. And he's like, no. First of all, we came through the testing gate. It's cool. Second of all, we called ahead, okay? And said, we're here to see Killua. And she's like, yeah, but you can't. So it's as simple as that, you know? You can't get through without permission. And he's like, well, what do I got to do to get permission? She goes, I don't know. Nobody's ever had permission, right? So these people are not only weird and secluded, but they're just, they don't see anybody on the outside world. But the Zoldyck family, from what I can see, is on another level. Just another level physically, mentally, just everything that they do. And even their butlers are like these hardcore, even their servant staff are pretty hardcore, you know. So even the underlings are next level, you know, and that's what it seems like anyway. So, and you gotta remember, it took them days of training just for Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio to go and push one set of doors open. Now remember, Killua's a little 12-year-old badass, popped 3 of them open on his way back in. So anyway, Gon goes and steps over the line, and BAM! She nails him, and he goes flying back. And Leorio and Kurapika, they're pulling their shit out. They're about ready to go, you know. And Leorio's got that little, like, switchblade butterfly knife that he likes to pop out, you know. I'd like to see him stick somebody with that thing. It just reminds me. It's just like, he's kind of a funny-looking dude, and then he's got this little switchblade. And then anyway, Gon stands up. He says, no, you guys stay out of this. Let me take care of this. So he comes back and he walks back across the line. BAM! He gets nailed again, right? The whole time he's getting rocked back and forth, Killua's sister, I'm guessing it's the sister, is looking like from the bushes kind of over to the side, looking at him, and you watch her eyes just falling back and forth. BAM! Back and forth. BAM! You know? And Canary goes and the butler starts kind of going and weakening. She remembers, has a little quick flashback. Her eyes soften up a little bit. She has a flashback of when Killua came back, And as he walked past her, he said that he had made a friend, right? And she thought that was so great and profound, right? Because she knows this family and how messed up they are. So nonetheless, though, this goes back and forth, and I mean, well into the evening, right? The sun's about to set, and they're still, you know, and he's still coming, and Gon's all busted up. He's taking his lumps, man. He's getting up. He's like, we're going to go there. Simple as that. I'm not leaving until I see Killua. Boom, he goes back. Boom, he gets nailed again, right? So eventually it gets to the point where, I mean, she's like, she has a tear that runs down her eye because she's just like, number one, she can see that, like, this kid has some resolve. He wants to go see his friend. And number two, I think she feels for Killua and whatnot, too. Has a heart. She's not as cold-hearted as maybe some of these other family members or servants are. And anyway, and then Gon winds up going and crossing the line, and as he crosses the line, he's like, oh, don't make me have to do this. Like, he's going to punch her, and he kind of stops in mid-punch because he notices he went over the line, and she didn't attack him, right? And just as she goes and, like, kind of lowers her guard, so to speak, and everything like that, all of a sudden, she just gets blown away, man. I thought she got shot. Then we go and we see the floofy little mother of the Zoldyck family with the Cyclops freaking visor thing on, just went and just lit her ass up and took her out and was like, oh yeah, weak-minded and this and that, you know. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? You know, these people are really effed up. And the worst thing about it is that she's in, like, this little, like, tea party dress back from, like, the 1900s, you know what I mean? Where she's got the umbrella and everything like that and the big kind of floofy dress, you know. I'm like, it's so funny because it doesn't really match, but it's such a neat character design, you know. So she's standing there with the little girl that we presume is Killua's sister. She hasn't been introduced, you know, formally yet. But, and then I'm assuming this is Killua's mother. She hasn't been formally introduced either. But anyway, just by what they said, I figured they're obviously family members, brother, sister, mother, you know, that type of stuff. So then the episode ends with her saying, you know, I know you came all this way. You know, I'm sorry, but I have a message from Killua, you know, and the message is, you know, thanks for coming. I'm sorry I can't see you right now. And we all know that that's bullshit. Killua had a gleam in his eye, and he was excited as hell to see Gon, and was excited and to think that he had this friend that cared enough about him to come all the way there, and then to actually go and come through the trials and tribulations that the Zoldyck family lay out, this freaking minefield, you know, their fun house of horrors on the way up. So a very cool episode, and again, one of those episodes that just reinforced, I think, my respect for Gon, and especially because you have to look at the age here. I mean, being so young, to have such great strength of will and resolve, and especially with, we don't know anything about his mother yet. We know he was raised by his aunt, Mito-san, but nothing so far about his father other than that he went off to become a hunter. So we have, you know, as far as I know, he had no parental guidance or influence, you know what I mean? Maybe whatever he got from his aunt, but that's not the same, you know? And to see his strength of will, man, and like I said, just that determination, that gleam in his eye, that resolve, you know, is really cool. So the episode ends off right over there. You know, the narrator's like, oh, it's going to be very hard, you know, this and that. But, you know, they wanted to come, they made it this far, but now they're only going to get turned back because it appears Killua does not want to see them, you know. And then it kind of pans over into the, like, dungeon, little house of horrors in their mansion and shows Killua just all, you know, battered and bruised and beat up because his brother's been beating the shit out of him. So really messed up family, though. A little bit cuckoo, I think, you know. So certainly hope they get Killua's ass out of there. But you could see it, too, in Killua, though. You know what I mean? You could see in some of the episodes that we did see him in during the testing that he's different. You know, he's definitely different. He's walked a different path. So my episode question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is what are your thoughts on the Zoldyck family themselves? You know, last episode, obviously, I asked about the backdrop and everything else, but now that we've seen a little more of the Zoldyck family and even just their servants, their butlers, their help, you know, like I said, these people seem like they're next level hardcore, but I want to know what your thoughts are, brothers and sisters. Leave the answer to that question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next Fun Nation.
So I'd appreciate it if you'd follow me over on the Twitter and the Facebook and even my other channel.